Alright guys, well, this is it. War Eternal, the finale. The big conclusion with the story is coming out. Now, this video is not going to have any spoilers in it whatsoever. I just want to run down some of the other things that have come with this release, including a few bits of balance, some discussion about World versus Worlds, and, well, you'll see. So, yeah, when you log in, you'll be able to play the new stuff, go to the new map, get the new mount. Several of those things have been detailed by the patch notes, and I guess that's one place to start in this enormous finale. Over on the notes, we'll see May 14th. They're saying very briefly, War Eternal, Aurene is slain, Kralkatorrik victorious. Now Dragon's Watch must reconcile their defeat and prepare themselves not only for the end of Tyria, but for the end of all things as the Crystal Dragon continues his rampage through the mists. And there you go, that's pretty much it for the story. New legendary weapon, Exordium, is now in the game. Tyria is on the brink of a new era of magic and technology. Exordium physically embodies this renaissance, a symbol of hope, unity, and a bold way forward. The blade's form expresses itself in unique ways based on the user's specific need, taking on different shapes when thrown, thrust, or slammed into a target. Now, this is something I've not really talked about. We had so many trailers and things showing various elements of this greatsword off. It's the final legendary from Gen 2, and, well, yeah, it has a special feature in that depending on the exact animation you're using, it changes the way it looks. Now, the patch only just went live as this video I'm making now, but hopefully at some point in the future, I'll show you what this means. It's kind of like when you're a greatsword necromancer with a reaper, it will look like a scythe through certain animations. When you use the parry ability on ranger, it looks like a shield. Like, it changes and adapts. A really cool idea and very special thing for the final Gen 2 legendary. And it makes me wonder as well, in the future, when new elite specializations come and new classes get greatsword, Exordium's always going to have, like, those extra animations. It's kind of crazy. So, really amazing thing, and big part of the patch. Not only do we have the greatsword, we've got the new mount, the Sky Scale. The mists are home to many strange and glorious creatures, including Gorik's latest field of study, the Sky Scale. Closely related to dragons, Sky Scales subsist on magical energy. Earn their trust as you once earn Aurene's, and you'll be able to ascend into the sky and hover high above Tyria. The Sky Scale possesses the unique ability to cling to walls and other vertical surfaces. These are facts I talked about in some recent videos you guys might like to check out. The devs did a preview stream showing it off. We'll have a full look at one as well once I've acquired it, allowing its rider to steadily gain elevation in strategically measured increments. After completing War Eternal, you can meet with Gorik at the Sky Scale Eyrie to learn how you can acquire the newest edition as part of your mount roster. So, it sounds like it'll be a part of the story, and then we'll be able to permanently have it. Think a little bit how we got PT and the Roller Beetle with Gorik in one of the earlier patches. Here's some other more general changes now. So for raids, they say fixed a bug that allowed continued access to the Glyph of Empowerment effect. Now, if I just read this in isolation, I think, oh, that might be an underwater thing, right? Where one of the trait interactions was still working strangely. But no, this is specifically in raids. People could get that. I have no idea. Next, items for Rune of the Crate. They fixed a bug that caused the 6-piece effect to require a cooldown longer than 30 seconds. So this is when you use an elite, you splash a blind out around... Oh, no, it's 3 condies, right? Isn't it? Bleed, Torment, and Poison, maybe? Blind is on Nightmare Runes, and a Transference is on Nightmare Runes. But anyway, this had a longer ICD than it needed, so they've improved that. Then there is a little bit of profession balance. Just a little bit. Now, remember, the last big patch did do fairly large changes to some of our favorite elite specializations. And, well, when you get to Warrior, you'll see a big one. So, anyway, General Fire Aura, they fixed a bug that prevented it from triggering several traits. I don't know what these are, but I know that most of the aura-related traits in the game are on Elementalist, and I wonder whether these were particularly prominent bugs that were impacting the viability of Support Tempest. I'd love to see that it was, so that now maybe I can look at that with new vigor. Looking at Engineer, we've got the Reconstruction field, and they've reduced the number of pulses from 5 to 3. They've increased the protection duration from 1 to 2. The Auto Defense Bomb Dispenser, they've increased the recharge from 20 to 40 seconds. Now, I've started playing a little bit of Warrior in PvP recently, and debunking scrappers is always annoying because when you throw the first crowd control at them, they drop this bomb field that continues pulsing blinds on you, and it comes up really regularly. So the fact they've doubled the cooldown on that automatic bomb field is beautiful to me. I'm really happy with this, and really kind of solidifies that warrior countering engineer, scrapper situation. Rev as well, obviously. Next, we have rapid regeneration. So while under super speed and swiftness, you're regenerating. They reduced the healing from super speed by 40%. That's pretty big. They also fixed a bug in the combat log that caused the healing from the trait to be incorrectly displayed as rapid reconstruction. So that's pretty minor. And finally now, over on Hollow, there's a buff for PvP. Prime Light Beam, the recharge of the skill is now 60 seconds in all game modes. What does this actually mean? Well, for PvP, that was 75 seconds before the patch. They've just dropped it down. So they're really pushing Hollow a bit more, which is interesting to me because I feel like it was in a really good place with the Prime Light Beams there. There you go. So you get those quicker. Next, for Necromancer, Abrasive Grit. They fixed a bug that prevented the trait from functioning with the second hit of Harbinger Shroud. Obviously, we had the new Shroud come in a bit back, and they've had lots of little things to ham out with that. So that's nice. Over on Revenant, Unrelenting Assault. So this is your Sword 3. They've reduced the might you get from 8 to 5 seconds. And, you know, Revenant's one of those classes that splashes out a ton of might from Devastation trait line, from Fury synergies with Invocation and Herald. So they're hitting that a little bit, but I don't actually know how much that's really going to affect things. They also fixed a bug that caused the skill to trigger the Confusion condition multiple times in a single cast. I guess it's because every impact of your, you know, Spinning Blade attack was counting as a different skill, and now it won't. Roiling Mists, this is the just your Fury is going to be double on you. Decreased the bonus critical chance from double to 50% in PvP. So some people were already moving away from this Grandmaster, honestly, and using Song of the Mists. So I'm not sure how much that matters, but I've always thought that was an extremely powerful trait. It's very similar to the Retaliation crit chance trait that Guardian was recently nerfed on. And I think it's only fair if Guardian had theirs nerfed, Rev to an extent gets theirs also. Obviously, they are different. I'm not saying they're the same, but, you know, they're just massive amounts of precision being offered, massive amounts of attribute gain on a single Grandmaster. Next, Incense Response, reduce the might duration here as well. That's the Fury synergy I was talking about there. Sword, they lowered the damage for the full sword attack chain by about 10%. I don't think that matters much. And Shared Empowerment, this is where you splash might out to allies as a herald. They reduce the might duration from that by half. Which is obviously a little bit more culling on the might there. So they felt that Rev was overtuned clearly in the might department. Looking over at Warrior, now remember we had the big Berserker change. First of all, Decapitate. Decapitate, I've already shown off in a video. It's no longer a skill that moves you and does things, which in the past meant it synergized with Warrior's Sprint, which means you cleanse and mobilize whenever you move. Like if you use Greatsword 5 or 3 or whatever, you move, you cleanse the immobilize. Well, Decapitate got fixed to no longer do that, but it was still cleansing immob. So they fixed that now. Fixed a bug that caused it to activate Warrior's Sprint. And then Arc Divider. The brand spanking new, super flashy, Greatsword Burst. Reduce the damage by 25% in PvP and World vs. World. Also fixed a bug that allowed it to trigger Sundering Burst more than once per target. But yeah, this nerf is probably something we could all see coming. I actually don't think that the Greatsword Warrior Bursts were, when you got competitive enough, actually that good. And were pretty gimmicky. But I can see why for the other echelons of play, they were kind of dominating. There were a lot of them around. And as hilarious it is, I think it's an outlier when compared to all the other Warrior or Berserker bursts, I should say. So it was obvious a nerf was going to be coming. That said, I saw one of my first and only ever quadra kills in PvP. Like a single player in a single animation getting a quadra kill with Arc Divider. And I'll forever cherish that. Moving on, it will still be strong. Moving on, PvP in general. Exordium has been added for Tournament of Legend first place reward boxes. We don't know when the next Tournament of Legends will actually come. So this is kind of a really useless patch note in a way. But they did it, so it's there. And then patch note, I don't really know how to interpret. I must be honest, guys. So when you win a monthly tournament, you get a gizmo, a really special cool item that you can play. It's a novelty. And very few players have them in the entire game, first of all. They're really prestigious, really cool, an amazing reason to go get into PvP, even if all you like is Fashion Wars. I promise you guys, you should work for these. They're amazing. But here's the patch note. It says, if you've already unlocked a monthly tournament gizmo in the novelties wardrobe, you can now purchase another gizmo from the PvP tournament vendor once per character? So I don't get this, because once you've unlocked it, you have it on your whole account because it's a novelty. So is this just a thing for people who are basically missing novelties because they consumed them somehow? I don't get it. I really don't know what they're talking about here. I don't think the idea is, oh, you get double gizmo rewards. I think it's just some kind of catchment for people who have somehow lost the items. And you can do it once per character. I'm not too sure, but there you have it. Next, they have a bunch of Blackline stuff. Obviously, it's the finale. This video may not have given you much of a suggestion for it yet because we're talking about other things, but this is a huge release, a really big one, and so obviously going to do a lot of Blackline stuff. Instead of rolling through all of it, I'm just going to pause so that you guys can see, and for those of you like me, you might be most interested in this one at the bottom. The guaranteed wardrobe unlock's been updated with 500 new items, mostly weapon and armors, but dyes, gliders, outfits, and minis have all been added to. Have been they've written here, which is actually a typo. But yeah, so lots of stuff going on there. New selection of town clothes outfits has been added. Fun stuff. And so that's the patch in general. I'm making this very quickly because I'm about to go over to Twitch now and stream live my first impressions of the story. So if you're watching my video right now, the spoiler-free, feel free to look in the comments or the top of the description. There's a link. All you have to do is click it, and you can experience the patch with me. We can go through, we can play, we can chat with one another. It'll be a lot of fun. The last one was amazing. And so I really do encourage you guys to do that. If it's like a day later and the stream's obviously already over, you can check out my second channel, Wooden Potatoes 2, where the full VOD will be live, and you'll be able to experience many hours of War Eternal in its entirety, my first time through. So no matter when you're watching this video, there will be something for you guys to lead on to, and hopefully it'll be fun. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Can't wait to get in there, and I'll see you all very soon.